Hello, my name is Thane Kaiser, and I will be talking about our group's analytical report. Our topic being the burnout among CNAs and nurses at Presbyterian Manor here in Salina, Kansas. So the reason that our group chose this topic was because we feel that it's a local issue, but that it can have a national impact. Um, there are a lot of nurses nowadays in the field that are suffering from the effects of burnout, and we feel that maybe we can offer some solutions to some of those problems that might contribute to the burnout. For our approach, we kind of used a mixed approach. We had our sources that came from academic sources, and then we also had our interviewees, and one of those being from a former CNA at Presbyterian Manor. And then we were able to interview an RN from a facility in Hutchinson, namely the Hutch Regional Medical Center. I feel that that combination gave us a really good mix of both having data from those articles and then also being able to rely on those live experiences to be able to kind of support our claims. Those being, we have found that 12-hour shifts and understaffing were major contributors to the fatigue and consequently the leaving of those nurses from their roles. And even though in the interview process we had it reported to us that the 12-hour shifts were preferred um, by the RN from the hospital, we have found through our data that that is not the best system for preventing the burnout. So with that, we were talking about Presbyterian Manor. One of the things we found out was that one CNA could be asked to care for up to 20 residents alone, often without very many breaks, and that can lead to burnout. Um, One of the things we're trying to solve is not just the burnout, but also making sure that the patients also have a high standard of safety and high quality in their care. One of our reports from the federal websites that we had sourced showed that we could uh, reduce burnout by 30% or more simply by making a few changes. One of those was a staggered 8-hour shift schedule, and that is going to help them reduce fatigue and kind of improve the care that they were able to provide to their residents. One of the recommendations we'd also like to make is implementing a flexible scheduling program, and that is going to be able to give the staff a little more freedom and more control over their work weeks. To that end, we are recommending that with the new advancements in AI, that they might use AI as a scheduling tool to kind of enable a fair distribution of all the hours to all the nurses, and that would be able the nurses be able to submit their schedules and their likes and dislikes for the timings, and the AI tool will be able to sort those and give everybody kind of the best of both worlds. This also takes some of the impact off of the nurses who would normally assign those shifts, as they would be driven off of the AI powered tool. We think that with some of these improvements, we can see a really good improvement on the culture. I think we can take the time to appreciate the support for their mental health. And I think it's going to really lend itself to better communication among the staff, where we don't have resentment building up for one person uh, getting assigned better shifts simply because they know somebody or because they've worked there the longest. The AI program will be indifferent to any of those things. Um, I believe that our goal here was to offer a realistic and data-centric solution to this, and I think we have accomplished that within our report. Moving on to just our group as a whole. So as for my own role, I was contributing heavily to the finding sections. So I wrote quite a bit of what we had found, took a lot of the data, transmuted it over to charts, and then also sourced one of the interviews, that being the RN interview at the Hutchinson Regional Center. To that end, I also gave feedback on some of the formatting of the document and wanted to make a lot of notes on the presentation flow of that document, make sure that we're presenting everything in a way that was palatable for our audience. If I was going to do something differently, I think that our team could have probably scheduled a few more meetings earlier on in the process and that would have helped us out with making sure that we were meeting all of our deadlines, which we didn't miss a single deadline, and we were able to get all of our work accomplished. But a few of those weeks, and mostly due to holiday scheduling on 4th of July, but a few of those weeks did get a little up to the due date. And so I think we would have benefited a lot from just a little bit more meeting time and working together during those stages. With that, time management wise, so I was able to block out about 3 hours of each week before this project. I do work a full-time job. I had 2 classes this summer, this one included, and then I do have a wife and 4 children to take care of, so my time is quite limited. With that, the 3 hours a week on top of the meeting times, I felt like was a sufficient amount of time to be able to get everything that we wanted to get accomplished. In working with our group, so I thought we had a great team dynamic when we were on our meetings. We were able to use Zoom to communicate with each other and be able to share the documents that we had all produced and then combine them into a cohesive whole. And I think that everybody was a valuable contributor for this team. Sierra had brought her own CNA experience, which was instrumental to a lot of the information, as she was able to directly draw from that to help us find data, but also to explain some of the data to us, to myself and Ruben, the other individual who was on our team. That Ruben was able to organize our writing sections. He also worked on the introduction and the conclusion, which is very helpful. And I think that through all of our talking and meeting together, we were able to put something together that I think worked out very well. And I would absolutely enjoy the work with them again if we had the chance. Something I learned over the course of this class is we need to be coordinating from different viewpoints when we are delivering our business communication. I think some people will take their own perspective and focus on that when they're trying to communicate. And I believe that by bringing in everybody's opinions and thoughts, that we can really make something that is a little more cohesive to everybody's ideas, and also make something that is a better version of what we might have had prior. Is going to be more of a staffing. It's more than just staffing issue. I believe that it's tied to the culture of the environment that we're working in, the leadership in that environment, and then also whatever we can do to make systematic changes to help those nurses with the burnout. So I think that it was also important when writing this report because it was a kind of complex problem to solve, working with everybody's schedules, not just my own, and being able to find times that worked and communicate practically between all of our different ideas and all of our different viewpoints. But I think we ended up collaborating very well on this, and I got a lot out of this project. So I'm Thane Kaiser, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.